I said this was going to be a live video. I was wrong. Apparently we have restrictions on new channels on YouTube, so I'll look into fixing that. But in the meantime, today we're going to talk about mental health, families, and holidays. To give you some background, I was diagnosed with persistent anxiety disorder and depression. That was in 2015. I spent a year in therapy to try to avoid going on medication so that I could develop my own coping mechanisms so that I wouldn't have to rely on such things. I'm not shaming it, but I'm someone who takes children's aspirin when I have a headache. I am extremely medicine tolerant, and so I was afraid of what trials and tribulations I would go through in order to find the right combination. And so I did. After a year, it was decided that looking at other changes in my body, there was indeed a chemical imbalance happening. Now, that was either caused by or a result of ongoing depression that we now suspect goes back to childhood. I was also diagnosed with autism, and we also suspect that that has been there since childhood. So, to get to my point, holidays. I have been going through a cycle where I get manic at this time of year. I did go on medication, and we were playing with those dosages for quite a while. And every time this year, I would start to develop the symptoms of bipolar disorder. Now, that's a big deal. If you don't know bipolar disorder, and I won't go into it in great detail, there are great highs. There are very deep lows associated with that. And it's not always predictable, and it can be a wave or it can just be a spike and then downward. For me, it was the latter of the two. And this is the time of year where I feel like everything's great and I want to go out to holiday parties and I want to be with people. I'm going through it right now, being November. Do I look okay? Sure. This is the first time in 3 cycles of this that I am aware of it. We keep wondering what's been causing this at this time of year. Now, many ideas have been thrown around. I have seasonal affective disorder, and this is when the sun starts to set earlier. I also lost my brother in September, 18 years ago, so that could be it. But I think we finally nailed it down, and it comes to family. I am old enough to be responsible for myself. I can't blame my family for everything, but that is the subject of what today is about. Family and the holidays. I discovered that my brother's passing kicked off something else that happened in my family. We stopped getting together. When my grandmother passed away, that was it. She was the glue that bound us all together. We would go to her house for Easter and Christmas and Thanksgiving, even if family members we knew were going to be there that we didn't particularly enjoy or get along with. We all act civilly for my grandparents. Once they were gone, so were family dinners, and I felt something lacking in me. I am a big fan of watching those cheesy films at Christmas, you know, the ones where there's a huge family all together and, and the gift giving and the meals together. And that is what I suspect actually hits me at this time of year. How can wanting to be with family make you feel so alone and sad? Because you're missing it and you're craving that and you're seeking a replacement. And that's exactly what I've been doing these past few years. New friends groups come into my life and I want to make them my family. This, again, this is the 3rd time it has happened, so I now realize this is a cycle within me and within my personality disorder. I have a new neighbor, and when she moved in, she said the magic words, "We're family now." That filled me with something that, quite frankly, shouldn't have been there. that I was latching on to someone who was an acquaintance before to make them my family. Fantasies went into my head of she and her son joining us for Thanksgiving. Every year we do throw a big Friendsgiving for those who don't have family out here. And that has what's been filling the hole in my heart these past few years. Getting back onto the subject of such things, we're not gonna talk about dopamine and serotonin right now. We'll go into detail about that some other time. But these are results of what happens to me at this time of year, is that those levels go off and you feel false senses of love, sadness, of poor decision making, of rash decision making. And it's quite a roller coaster ride, to be honest. It's not wrong to want family. It is also not wrong if yours is not good for you and you've had to move away from them. I personally have not spoken to my mother or stepdad in many, many years. And it did take a lot of stress away. There is part of me that thinks I should try to make amends simply because it's the holidays. That would not be a good idea. I stepped away for a reason, and that reason should stay. People do forgive, rather they deserve forgiveness, not only if they ask for it, but they have to mean it. They have to have some intent to do work, to change their behavior. And that's what's missing in the reconciliation with my family. I have girls. They are my family. It's not a big family. But if you are experiencing these symptoms, you're not alone. And I'm sorry. I don't know that there's a perfect solution. I don't know how to fix this. In me, in you, this is not going to be full of a great deal of advice, except that when you are feeling like something is missing and you have depression or anxiety or bipolar disorder or any other condition, please take the time to look within, to identify your triggers and help deal with those. If you have someone you trust, or several someones, a circle of friends, please relay this to them. They're not going to fix it for you. I hope they don't try. But maybe together you can keep an eye on such things and they can help you help yourself. I'm fortunate that I have friends in my life who have known me over a greater period of time, and so these yearly freakouts are a drop in the bucket to who they know me to be, and they feel that the tumultuous mood swings are worth it, and I'm grateful to that. There are some that don't, and I'm not angry. I'm not bitter. I'm not upset. That is not anyone else's job to take on. I've even had to pull away from some of them because I did care. That's okay too. Forgive yourself. Look within. And I hope that we can talk a little more next time about dopamine and serotonin levels and what they can do, especially how they deal with decision-making skills. This is the first of these videos, and I probably should have put this at the front of it, but though I am in clinical psychology courses, I am not a psychologist, and I shouldn't be considered one. I should never be used in place of a licensed therapist. But hopefully, this journey we go on together, we can learn from each other. I'd rather you see my mistakes and blast them out to you and hope that you can avoid some of the pain, the heartache, and the stress that I've gone through simply by viewing my blunders. It's okay for me to be under glass. It's how I've lived my life. but I hope it helps you. Until next time, I'll see you later.